Welcome to another edition of Vigorously with me, Val Kleinhans, getting excited for a new album on the way this episode. Self Deception is here. We're thrilled to have two of the members anyway. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to be on.
Andreas, specifically when it comes to you, I loved finding out that you are a self-proclaimed dystopian nerd. And
Oh, yeah.
I want to talk a little bit dystopia too. I'm into Dune. I'm excited for the next Dune movie. I don't know if you're a Dune guy.
So am I. Yeah.
Okay. So, in addition to Dune, what are some of your other favorites?
I have to say, Three Body Problem is probably my most recent one. There's a lot of sci-fi in it, and of course, Black Mirror is just the best. But also like different kind of genres that aren't science fiction per se.
Hmm.
I'd say if I would rate like my most recent favorite things would be Black Mirror or Three Body Problem. I actually read the book after seeing seeing the series Three Body
Yes.
Problem and got a complete different view of it, even though it was the same. So I'm excited that there's going to be another season. It's just the best. I have a brain that gets easily and thinks about catastrophes. You know, I'm really. I've always been this my whole life. Like worrisome about like the worst possible scenario is going to happen, but dystopia kind of like calms me down. So it's become like an addiction.
It's hard not to pay attention to it, and it's really creepy when you see some of it reflected in real life. Bits and
Yeah.
pieces, bits and pieces. Like sometimes I have to turn off Black Mirror because I'm like, this is getting a little bit too real. One of the last episodes from the last season was about paying like for medical care with a subscription service, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't. We're a little too close to that already.
But the thing is, I'm kind of like a hobby. I like a lot. I like astronomy and math.
Mm,
On a hobby level, this is something I'm not like our guitarist. He's an engineer, so he's very good at math. I'm like more hobby and the philosophical side of it. But I love when they put these like great sci-fi twists to it, like with technology. There was
yeah.
one in the one episode in the earlier seasons where this woman you can make copies, smaller copies of people, and it's like she's the real person, and she gets to stay in a box for like he just pushes a button and says, "Okay, you're gonna stay in here like for a year, so you learn your lesson." And she had to stay in there for a year. You know, it's just it just
Wild.
it just it gets me going.
So, for both of you, really, is it fair to say that this album looks at what happens when we wake up from a dystopian nightmare and realize that we have been wronged, or there are things that are just woo too much?
I would like to say that one song in particular is influenced by this exact obsession of mine, and actually it was Patrick or Hagge that you call him that is with us today that
Whatever.
really, yeah, that really that really pushed this song through. We were on a 2 week writers camp in Spain, and during that time. Our families came down, and actually, our drummer Eric got married. And during this time, Hagge was obsessed about this one demo that we had. Well,
Mhm.
you could describe it yourself, Patrick.
Well, it's one of the best guitar riffs that our guitarist Ronnie ever wrote, I think. And I was just, it was the final day of, we've been there for 2 weeks, and it was last day, and I was like, we need to get this riff on this album, and we just need to put this song together. And then Andreas picked it up and wrote this amazing lyrics. Please take it away.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I liked it because, and we also like we put two of the ideas that I think it was that Patrick was really into, which is the riff and the verse. And so we wrote on it, and like on the night that our drummer got married, I sat down and I was like, what if we write a song about a wedding, but the couple secretly wants to kill each other?
I heard about this and I was like, what in the Mr. and Mrs. Smith? I was like, I need to pay attention. And the video is fantastic. But yes, please tell me more.
Yeah, no. So I mean, and as soon as I could, I love the kind of storytelling way to write. Not all of our songs are like that, but when I get an idea, like if in some other universe, I would probably be a writer, or maybe novels. I don't know, like just these small ideas that I can and come up with. But that was such a perfect, and we felt it that night, everybody, because of course Eric just got married, so
right.
we just started spinning on it, and after that, I mean, I obsess about our lyrics, about our the meaning of the songs. Even if we get it like 85% to the finish, I still got weeks after that to get the last 15%. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and like picture a scenario that I myself can relate to. So it's a good story for a song. It is.
We're invested. We're so invested because I'm like, I'm watching this video and I'm waiting to find out, wait, which one dies first? Like I'm like, because I need to see where this goes. I need a little background. Like, are they spies? Are they not spies? Are they just like it? But then it kind of seemed to take like a zombie turn. There's a lot going on in this video. I'm not going to spoil too much, but after watching it, I did want to ask if like the blood landing on like the bride's figurine first is kind of a clue as to how the rest of it goes.
Let's just say my vision of writing a song is not always completely what do you say, coherent or the same as the guy that produces the actual video. But we got really close. Okay. We got really close to in this one. I mean, the idea is to kind of leave an open field. The hardest part wasn't like coming to a conclusion on what happens. It was more like, how can I write this from a woman's perspective, the bride's perspective? How can I write this? Because I like the whole idea of weddings. It's like I worked as a cover musician for so many years. I've done hundreds of weddings, you know, and I just like the whole thing. And so, but it was hard to like put myself into the bride's shoes and like kind of how do I make it in a way that is through her eyes, and then also make it like in a way that's for the guy to be a way that maybe a bride would look at her at the groom. So it was really hard for like that kind of part of it. But I mean, the story and how it begins and how it ends, I will not disclose.
We need to watch. We need to pay attention. We need to listen. All the clues are out there already. Just pay attention.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So Patrick, he's making it sound like this wasn't a hard sell, the concept anyway, to the rest of the group.
No, not really, and it almost never is. Andreas is amazing with his writing, his lyrics, and the themes that he puts up for this, and so it's never a hard sell. He just needs to describe them well, as he most of the time does. Sometimes he gets stuck in a loop and can't get out, and that's when he calls me and I help him to get on the track again.
Patrick has a talent for he's the biggest music consumer I know. I don't listen to music privately because it's all I think about. But I zoom into this kind of thing, and he has a talent when it comes to zooming out and just seeing the bigger picture. And that really he gets me out of hard situations. Like, okay, look at it this way, you know. He understands the insanity somehow.
We need that voice. We do need that voice sometimes. A lot of the time, especially the more creative you are, the further in your head you can get. And you do need that outside person or just another party saying,
yeah. If I talk to our producer, it's always like he's pushing for something. Hagge has like a way of just like tying up the knots. It's a big talent. If there's anybody that writes songs that are stuck, you should write to Patrick.
Fluent in Andreas. I love it.
Yeah, definitely.
So we got a little clip of an unplugged version of The Wedding, and that was a treat. Any plans on like making that a thing, like a real release? Because that sounded great.
Maybe we should actually.
Yeah, maybe we should. We've done a couple of versions of, like, not all the song, but at least the singles. So maybe we should look into do a couple of acoustic versions.
Is there a time and place for acoustics?
Well, let's just say that there's a lot of time invested into writing music and going on tour and all these kind of things, and we always have to make the choice of what do we think or what do we need to work on. There's always good to have, and there's always nice to have, and most often the acoustic songs go into the category of nice to have. They're very cool and they're very nice, but I mean, we need material for our next album. We can't sit with too short deadlines, so that's always what we work on. But like on our previous album, we had a acoustic song, or more like a symphony, a big symphony that played to a version that was of a song called Beautiful Disaster that we chose to do because we wanted to and we believed in it, and it was kind of on a bucket list, just looking at this big orchestra playing all our stuff.
Yes.
So I mean, we would like to do it more, but the thing is always we're always working on new material, and just so you know, like on this album, that's the new album, One of Us, the 11 songs that are on it are the only 11 songs that we agreed on.
Okay.
Everybody, yeah. So there's a couple. Everybody had to sacrifice something. So I mean, if this album goes really well for us and we can't start recording a new one for a while because there's a hype around it. I mean, there's always the option to write to do some acoustics, and that would most often be like a situation where we write, if there's one hit song, we'll do the acoustic version of that, and maybe during the same time do another one. So, but The Wedding for sure would be a candidate. It's easily a top 3 song for me.
Yeah, you're touching on the intention behind how we're choosing what song goes into what spot on the album. I could hear that already, even with the little bit that we have put out so far. One of Us, title track, obviously the battle cry that kicks the rebellion off, or at least I'm getting rebellion vibes so far. So was that had to be an intentional choice as well, starting with that title track?
I got to be honest here.
We actually not
really fooled me. But it sounds great.
We haven't released that video yet, I think. Because we actually recorded when we set the track order for the album, and it's all unintentional. It's all random picks on a table.
Okay, we won't tell anybody. We'll just make
it's just turned out to be fantastic, but it's not intentional at all.
Yeah, I totally did. When I compared it to the rest of what I heard, I thought, okay, this is setting off a rebellion. Like, this is the messaging we're going with here.
There was no plan such. We were actually, we used to think a lot about this, and the thing is that we were so divided on what kind of songs we like. Everybody had different kind of energy, time or feelings invested to different songs. So we completely disagreed on everything this album. Like when it comes to where we should place it, which ones should be our singles, and so it was good actually being like that. We're now signed to Napalm, that we could okay, you get to be the people that can have the last say, so we thought, why not just write down on pieces of paper and just pull the songs and do it, and we did. And I don't think any of us from the get-go was thought this is perfect, but after 5 minutes we were like, no, this is perfect, let's do it just like this.
Yeah, that other voice that we were talking about a little bit earlier, sometimes it does take the pressure off and leaves you to do what you're both good at, obviously. So I want to dive into Don't Belong too a little bit, because I know that you mentioned, Andreas, it's really about a dark place that you never want to go back to again. I heard a lot of kind of internalized isolation in the lyrics. So was that, what was it that pulled you out of that dark space and made you want to carry on anyway?
Well, I've always been there since I was. That it's like kind of why I got into playing music was listening to people express how they feel when they're in bad places, and I've done this since I was a teenager, and I've written so much about this. It's been like part of our identity, to just like this is the only place where I can actually describe how I feel about something, and it has to be exactly how I feel, and people have to understand how I feel. And it was my outlet, and used to do this a lot more, but during this album we did a lot of how do you say it? High energy, almost a little bit more kind of party kind of music. I mean, it's very high energy, and I've been in a good place now for a while, actually pretty long time. So I decided that I would try to at least write something where I can dive into what I'm kind of staying away from, since I have some diagnosis, and I'm a sober alcoholic. Had a lot of problems with that through the years, and it's like looking at it and going back to it and reminding myself of all the shit that I worked through, and all the problems that not only I've had, but all the people around me have had with me to get me to the place that I am today. And it's kind of a thing. I'm very thankful for that, but it's also something that when we're out playing every night, I talk about this subject with our audience. And it's like for a place for me to connect very personally with people out in the audience. And you wouldn't believe, like, sometimes when we play, there comes these big 2 meter muscly guys that would hug me like, yeah, I just disappear in their arms, and they cry and they say, I just needed somebody to say this,
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And I just feels like it felt so right to be able to pour that part of me into a song on this album, and I needed to, so I kind of put everything I got into that one when it comes to those feelings.
I totally understand that. To me, that's the core of what music is. It's expression, it is connection, and you're hitting on something interesting, talking about how it's a space where men can, excuse me, men can feel free to express themselves too. There aren't a lot of those. Depending on like what the culture's like, sometimes it's hard for men. Music is one of those spaces that you can do that. So, Patrick, would you agree that that's one of the things you love about music too?
Yeah, definitely. I think it is. But as Andrea said, I always listen to music depending on what I do. I have like one track list when I go to the gym, one track when I'm going out, or but if I sit working or whatever. And it's just something that connects people all over.
Mm-hmm. You pick a certain song for a certain mood, a certain atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. It's always mood driven.
But do you listen to music anyway, even while you're writing your own stuff and you're putting together your own stuff?
No, not really like that. I just listen to you, but I don't get obsessed with stuff like Andreas does, because I could just listen to something and it just goes through my head, and I don't like listen to the lyrics. I just feel the vibe of what the music gives me. So we're big different when we do stuff in a good way.
Yeah, the only music that I can listen to actually is like when my kids put their playlists on, like the 3 and 6. That'll work for me.
Well, so what is a 3 and 6-year-old listening to today? I need to know.
Well, there's a lot of Swedish pop and like the Melody Festival, but the good thing that I am actually standing exactly by a computer here, so it would be like, was it what's the Bruno Mars one?
Oh yeah,
So,
with Rosie. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's some Taylor Swift, and it's like popular music, and there's a lot of Swedish pop songs and stuff like that. So it's just and Crazy Frog and all these,
All those, oh man. So they're getting exposed to multiple genres early. I love
yeah,
that.
and I listen to these really. I've been playing music for so long, so I listen to these really complicated kind of stuff when I work.
Okay.
Is really like, yeah, well, kind of technical and complicated because it calms me down. But if I want to listen to something, if I get a feeling that I want to listen to something, it's either pop songs that I like, both Swedish and things that are worldwide. But sometimes I get the feel when I get the real feel for it, I'll listen to the kind of style of music where we come from. That'll get my gears going. But like I said, it's really hard. I ruin songs after 3 listenings because there's like an analytic part of it that it kind of ruins a lot of parts.
It's hard. It's really hard,
Yeah.
especially doing, I mean, that's what you do for a living. I can't imagine turning that off. I really can't. But the variety of genres, I mean, that we're talking about now, it's evident in your music. It has been almost the entire duration, really. So is that your version of an homage to everything that you grew up loving?
Can you explain the word homage?
Are
In
you
hyllning.
in
I just
what?
Okay.
translated it.
Meaning like you're recognizing, you're giving a little bit of a nod to everything that you grew up listening to by including all these genres.
Well, I guess so. I mean, our band name, Self Deception, comes from me and Eric back in the day when we started the band, playing with our other musicians that said the music of style you want to do will never work in Sweden.
Mm,
Uh, and we said, okay, fine. I guess we're deceiving ourselves. And so we called ourselves Self Deception and it stuck. And of course, I mean, these bands like Linkin Park and Papa Roach and even POD and System of a Down and all these kind of what we listened to back then is we're kind of play kind of a close style of music, but I mean everything changes.
right.
Everything changes, so we don't really discuss what kind of style of music or what kind of how we want to be presented. I mean, it becomes what it becomes.
I understand. So, because you're international, do those conversations still happen about what works here, what works there?
The only time that actually is we talk about it is when we play, like for example, some niched festivals.
Mm,
Like where we're playing at the metal festival, we might have one song that we know would do better than another song, but we rarely move around like or change anything to please anybody.
I understand. What does a successful lyric look like for you? One that you feel good about?
Wow, this is a very this is going to take some time.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
just. How long do you have? This could take hours.
Well, if you think about it, Patrick, you could say the same thing for a riff or anything you're creating as well. I'd be curious to hear your answer on that as well.
Well, that's just to grab a feeling, but it also connects with like what theme of the song it is and what kind of lyrics it is. So
Hmm.
it's all connected. But
Mm,
if you take like the example of the wedding, the song, it's just give you a feeling of energy, and you want to jump and do crazy stuff, and that's the things I would like to have a hard, like massive breakdown with. I don't know. It's just to grab a feeling and to get it in your body.
mm,
I
If
guess
that
when it
makes
comes to
sense.
yeah, when it comes to the lyrics, it's a lot about like the whole package. It both aesthetically needs to fit like a framework, but I'm an avoidance writer. I don't want to write exactly about how like it's raining. I can't say that. And this is how I can't say that I feel I'm dead inside. I have to write around it to make it more accurate for me. And I'm a near rhyme junkie. I hate rhymes that end the same if they're not in a certain place. I have like a list of 100, 200 words that I would never use
hmm
uh, because they've always been used. So I have like a really difficult kind of framework and how I want to where I want to put stuff. And it's when I check the box of all of those boxes, and also can deliver a song that everybody in the band and all the people that we work with can relate to. I feel like I've done my job, you know. But it takes forever. I can sit on one word or one sentence for an entire day and just I didn't get anywhere. Just how do I work this out? How do I get this to connect to? Because like the first part of the song and the last part of the song are perfect, but there's no bridge that'll connect these without like deviating from the plan or changing the actual meaning that I'm not wanting to say. And also during that time, I need to find the right rhymes, and they cannot actually rhyme. They have to be broken rhymes or close rhymes and near rhymes, and it has to be in a certain kind of way. So it's it's something that I hate doing because it puts a lot of pressure on me. But it's also something I could never live without, because it's when I actually finish and I'm proud of what I've done, it's the best thing ever. It's something that it's the best feeling.
Got it. Translator, how do you relieve the pressure then when he's in the thick of it?
Well, it's just to grab him for a minute and tell him to zoom out. Don't obsess in this word. What's the meaning of the whole sentence? What are you actually trying to say? And then I come in with something easy, stupid, like, you should say it like this. And then he turns that around and then he finds another way out of it. So it's, yeah.
Yeah.
That you just have to make him get out of that obsession of a word.
Yeah, I can never say I can feel it pumping in my veins while I fade away, even if that would be the exact thing that I mean. It's something everybody's always said for the history of rock music or music, and just it's so it's a cheap way of for me. I want to have it to be. It has to be. It has to have that sparkle to it, you know?
I understand. Is that also applied when it comes to the live shows? Just as much thought, just as much focus on the sparkle and making it work?
We put a lot of effort into our production, of course, and we love like improving all the time and doing things that are cool. But it's not only for the audience. I mean, it's also for us. But I guess perfection isn't as like a 95% for us or 90% for us is still a very, very good gig. And sometimes before we go out and play, we're like, okay, it's going to be a hard night tonight. We got to do at least, like, you always have the numbers, Hagge.
Well, sorry, I zoomed out for a minute.
We gotta bring him back in.
Yeah, no, you always like before the gigs, you could say like, okay, we at least today we need to bring 78%.
Yeah, today we do 67. Let's go.
Yeah, and the lower the number he says, it actually becomes better in the gig.
Yeah,
because
then it's always 110. Just
there it is, because the pressure's off.
And it's not like, for us, it's not performing maybe per se as a perfect musician. It's more about like having the show become something that we like. I mean, if you play wrong or if you miss like your cue or something like that, that won't be anything that we, of course, the next gig will do it better. But it's not the most important thing. Is that are the connection with the crowd and the connection with the people and what we feel feels good.
And you always need to leave a couple of percentage for the audience to give into the show as well. So together we'll bring it to 110.
Yeah, some of our worst played gigs have been the audience that have made it work, you know? And some of our most perfectly played and executed gigs weren't as good as that.
Right. Is there a fine line between letting the audience like totally sing for you and but letting them join in enough so that it's a party but not too much?
We have selected spots where we know it works. Sometimes I can just let them in because I can hear how loud it is. But we have it really worked out, especially later in the tour when we have like a new album like we have now. We know kind of beforehand what parts people will sing, but there's always parts that the actual crowd teaches us that this should be a place where we leave it for them, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What was the last thing that the crowd did that surprised you? Either of you?
There's always strange things happening. there's always strange things happening. There's always like flying, like Hagge always used to have this cowboy hat during one song that he always threw out, and it was always flying everywhere. But I mean,
one of the best thing was when a friend of mine came to a show in Helsingborg, dressed up all as me, in like the same clothes that I have on stage. It was an exact copy of how I look, and he actually had told me like 6 months before that. But when I come to a show, I'm going to dress up exactly like you, and I forgot about it. It was just insane. That was a fun thing.
Could you tell immediately that that's what he was trying to do?
Yeah, it was exact copy. He had the exact same clothes that I had. So we got him on stage for the last song with one of my extra bass guitars, and he just airplayed the last song on stage as well. So we had double bass players for that final. That was pretty epic.
I love the camaraderie. But going back in time just a little bit, Andreas, how did you find a group of guys that were so aligned with your vision and what you wanted to do?
So Eric, of course, him and me, we founded the band together, even though I found him. We've done this since forever. I mean, we've kicked out a couple of musicians for different reasons. If it hasn't been a lack of interest, it's been like addiction or many different reasons. So Ronnie, our guitarist, he really liked us, the way we sounded, and he had another band, but he came and tried out as a bass player. Actually, this is before Patrick Hagge that we're talking to now, to try out. But or no, actually, he tried out as a bass player at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And you choose me over him. That was a stupid choice.
Was it though? Was it?
Not now looking back into it, but
me and Patrick go back like a while, and we used to do we did these like high school and gymnasium, or maybe is that the same gymnasium?
Yeah.
We did like these school plays as a
musicals.
band, and musicals. And so I already knew who he was. I already knew, and Patrick is a guy that he knows a little bit about everything, you know. I know everything about a few things. That's like the difference between us. And I knew and he's a social guy, and he's very coherent, and you know, he that's the guy I wanted in the band. And during the same time, Ronnie, that is now our guitarist, we also realized that me playing electric guitar at the same time as singing is both are affecting each other. So we gotta take this apart. And so we took Ronnie in, and since then we've just been going. And it's the way if you look at it today, we kind of feel like the co-op, how we work together is perfect, but it's not always been this way. It's been like a long marriage. You gotta weave the shit out and then you know, work out and get everything working. I mean, and today we have. I mean, everything is. It's not perfect, but I mean, we want the same thing, and we all care about each other, so it's a lot easier, you know.
We all get invested in the thing that we do best in the band as well, since we run this as a company full time now. If you don't like to introduce the stuff, you don't need to do it because it's not your best thing. And then you do some other stuff that we need to do. So we always divide the chores.
Oh yeah, we got exactly. We got so many different things that we're good at, skills that I don't have. Patrick is excellent in, and our drummer Eric is. Without the different skill sets, we learned that we're not supposed to like complain about, okay, he wasn't doing this, I need help with this, blah blah blah, because we got like, okay, let's use what he is good at, and that's what we've done, and it really helps us, and you know, we push each other to do as well as we can in our area of the company or at the band Self Deception. And that's worked out really good for us. And we all have to learn new things. But I guess what we've done is to really use the sides that each individual is very good at.
I understand.
And maximize.
Yeah, playing to strengths. It's that simple. Playing to everybody's strengths and letting everybody, you know, have the room to do whatever it is that they do best. Somebody's strength is social media. I'll just say it right now. I don't know who's doing it, but somebody is really, really good. Really good at it. I'm liking what I'm seeing lately. Who is that?
That would be both Patrick and our drummer Eric.
We'll give the credit to Eric. He does like all the videos. He set up all the photos and stuff. I'm just trying to answer people and talk to them. And
but that's part of it.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But he makes all the special stuff around it. Andreas is our ace on YouTube. I never go into YouTube even, but he listens to see what people says. He does all the video premieres and stuff like that. So we're all juicing what we'd love to do and what we're best at. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
Ronnie doesn't do anything but write riffs. That's all.
He writes epic song. He does all the technical stuff with guitars and setups for our computers and everything that nobody else understands shit about. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He can use his engineer skills there.
Yeah, exactly.
I will be out of the picture. It's all about the ones and zeros.
I
will be out of picture here for a minute, but I'll still be with you.
Okay. Well, but Patrick, you've been in the game for just as long. You've been doing music forever as well. And I'm sure that's something, talking about social media, the internet, how it's used today, that wasn't always as essential as it is in music now.
Now it's a part of everything. You can,
right.
You have to use it as a tool to reach out and to get your audience and to talk to fans and to spread your music and the word about your band that way. So yeah, today it's really important, and you have to be more of an influencer than a musician sometimes. And I don't mind really, but it's a lot of hard extra work that you didn't have to do before. Before you could just write awesome songs and go on tour, but now you have to have like 30% social media as well, or 50%. I don't know.
Right, or it might look like actually going to radio stations or actually being on TV or things like that. Instead of, okay, you have full and total control over what you're putting out over the internet, and anybody can use the internet. It looks different today. So how did you adapt to that?
Well, I think it came naturally, especially for me, because I've always been like a social media guy, been picking up on stuff early on, but I could always do more. I'm not a pro in that way, but I think for me it came naturally. Andreas is more like private. For him, he like to keep his stuff more to himself, and Ronnie as well. So for me, it's not been that hard. I don't mind being in the spotlight. So
yeah. And are you learning how to edit, how to put everything together just kind of as you go? Are you like
kind of? I leave most of that to Eric. He's a pro at it. So all that technical stuff, he can do that. It's up to him, and then I can keep the fan connection and stuff, and talk to people, and just try to keep it going and expanding in that way.
Mm-hmm. You already definitely have an understanding of the importance in engagement. Is that part of the fun of social media for you?
I think it is. I love talking to fans and people who write, and like I find a guy like a couple of weeks ago. He wrote to us on our Instagram saying that we got him through a really hard. He had like a heart condition, and he had to do like really deep surgery, and he was about almost he didn't make it, but he did, and it was like your songs kept me going through all of this.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's so, it just took it to our hearts. And he actually lives in a city in Finland. So I was like, yeah, we'll get you on the guest list. So you need to come to this show and meet us. And he was like, it's going to be my first rock show. You guys are so awesome. And that's like the best part of it all the time.
Yeah. And what a way to get inducted to your first show. Like
Yeah,
that's VIP. That's fine.
and that's just a little bit for us to giving back in some kind. We would try to do that when we pick up these small pieces. You can't do it for everybody, but sometimes you find these diamonds, and you just have to
Yeah,
care
I
for them.
mean, there's been a time during our career where we were getting this isn't many years ago, this is maybe 5 or 6 years ago, where we had to start making a choice as grown men that we probably can't like pour our entire lives into this forever. We really might got to make it work. And I had my daughter had just been born, and like Eric has a daughter, and we had like regular jobs, the most of us. Uh, and we had to make like a hard choice, but it's always been these people like that love the same thing that we do that has been keeping us going, and social media is the perfect place for that.
Right. What have you thought? Well, I'd love to hear your thoughts on just the transition, because social media wasn't, we were talking about this, it wasn't always as essential in music as it is today. It wasn't always the internet aspect of putting yourself out there. Like that part of it wasn't, technologically speaking, as essential as it is today. So you've been in the game for a minute, you've watched that transition. How has that been for you adapting?
Well, we got into, I wasn't the earliest on MySpace, but that was like the first kind of platform we were on. And I remember we were looking at other bands just killing it on MySpace. And then Facebook came, and Facebook was actually pretty good when it came out in Sweden, because we started like just a group on, and I guess it was like it kind of was at the same time as we were a certain age where social media was the best thing that's ever happened, and we got to like meet new people online. And so we had this pretty kind of actually big, large, if you compared to like other big radio stations and stuff in Sweden, like a group, I think it was called then still, a page for self-deception, and people were really engaged into it. And I mean, you can almost look at today, you can almost look at Spotify as social media.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, but then like Spotify was new, and I remember we were like in a music contest, and we won the whole thing, and they like we got some what do you call it, promotion time, or what do you
Mm-hmm.
call it, like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, for their commercials and everything. So I mean, social media was we were lucky in some sorts, but it was very narrow. Now social media is such a machine
Mm-hmm.
today.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like the younger generations, they don't like social media. Ugh, they're sick of this, at least around here. And but you have to do it, and it's still the best way to promote yourself today. But I mean, the change has been so big. It's gone from the greatest thing ever to just a bunch of problems that they're trying to like weave out, and now it's landing in something that is a little bit changed, I guess, a little bit more regulated. But social media is still very important for us, and I mean it's great like for us to just people that are interested, for us to show what we're doing with our days and talk to
Yes.
the people. But it's such uh, a platform of business nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
It started out as something where people could just be connected, and I like this, you like this, and we'll talk together. Now it's half of everything is commercials, and like for us, we also have to put like ads and stuff into it all the time. So
Yeah.
it's not what it used to be, but it's still really great.
It's grown, it's changed, it's evolved. It is, I agree, it is kind of like your business card anymore, so to
Yeah.
speak, at least now, at least currently. So, what do you think that it's going to be as important 10 years, 20 years? Do you think it's still worth paying attention to?
Now, you know, I'm a big dystopian nerd, right?
Yes.
so, so let's see if this can be like the thing, the interview you go back to in like 10 years. Yeah, he was right. No, I believe, yeah, no, I
Yes,
believe
please
in
give us some theories. Give us some
yeah,
theories.
I believe in dead internet theory. I think it's going to collapse on itself, and we're going to go back to kind of communication where we're kind of more direct than landing on a platform where everything is everything, you know. Partially because of AI and what's put out, and it's just like a mess. So I think the internet as we're looking at it today is going to change the face in a big way.
Right.
So yeah, so put this now in the time capsule, this video, and please pull it up. Yeah, pull it up out of the ground in 10 years and we'll see if it's right.
Well, the only thing that does worry me is how quickly we embraced AI. I think there's pros and cons to it, but to embrace it as quickly as we have does make me a little nervous. I think there should have been a little bit more thought behind it first.
Yeah, but I think they're smart enough people to be able to have a wide enough periphery when it comes to the whole. It's just new for so many people. I think the people that actually do it and are in the organizations have a really good view at it. And I mean, of course, it sounds dangerous and it looks like it's. I mean, for us, we're musicians. Like now, anyone can go on a social media place and just push a button and okay, I want you to write one of these songs, and it writes some decent songs, you know. And this is a skill that we've worked our entire life to attain. So it's scary, but it's also like a part of the future. It's inevitable. It's almost like evolutionary. It's gonna happen.
It really is. But I hope that what doesn't change is the physical, tangible instruments themselves and everybody loving to just play that, because I think that's what's going to keep the authentic.
It's hard to put AI on a stage. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Exactly.
And so also, like I said, that like at least here in the Nordic countries, some kids are being forbidden to, like in Denmark, that you can't use social media until you're 16. But around in Sweden and stuff, it's like the younger kids, they don't post stuff. They don't like put things out. It's like ugh. And I think it's going to be the same way when it comes to like that kind of content. It's going to be icky, you know. You want to touch, you want to feel the quality and hear the quality for real before you can believe. I think it's we're only scraping the surface here with all these pictures and videos of famous people that you think is real, but it's not. I am so sure of the internet collapsing on itself that I'm not worried at all.
Time capsule, we're gonna put it in. So the album that's coming out, One of Us, I mean, we could time capsule that too. We could look back at this and say, hey, are some of the themes the same? Are they still things that we're talking about as a society today? Like, I know your summer is mainly going to be spent in Europe, but past that, what do you think the future looks like for self-deception?
Well, we know what we want to do, and we know what we're doing. Like this fall, we're doing 2 tours, one that is announced and one that is not yet announced. And we're working on on tours for next year. So what we want to do is, of course, tour the world. And go see. We were in Canada in August, September, and it was just like we loved going that part. We've been in Australia, and we love to go to new places. And just, if it's not like, we don't need to become like the biggest, the most famous band in the world, but it's something that connecting with people all around the world. That's like kind of our goal, at least.
Right.
So, and one of our biggest goals as a group and individuals is to play America. Yeah. Just go across the USA. It's been, we were so bummed out. Was it last year? Well, no, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When the tour, we were supposed to go to Louder Than Life and Aftershock, but it got canceled due to visa problems.
Oh God!
Yeah, we had a shorter tour.
We were this close.
It's that. It's the tariffs. It's a lot. Our country is going through a lot. I can say it. Like, we really are.
We had a short tour also that we had released tickets to and everything. So, but during that time, there was a very special situation with the American embassies here in Sweden, and also around the Nordic countries. They were backed up, and there was, for some reason, like something that should take weeks could take months, and it was just it was partially human error and not just and partially systematic. So it's really bad, and it was too bad because we had the festivals, we had everything, because it's not the cheapest. We can book a tour in the US, but we might got to make sure that everything works out because of tariffs and how things the costs of it, and make it work out. But it's on the bucket list. We need to do this as soon as we can. And right now I would say we're at the most prime we've ever been. So we want to show what we have right now to everybody in the States.
And you're excited about it, and I can tell. I absolutely can tell that you're excited about what you've been doing recently. Minnesota specifically will embrace you. I'm just going to tell you that right now. There's a lot of your fellow countrymen here, a lot of your diaspora here, like a lot of Swedes, a lot of other Scandinavians. They're here. We're ready for you.
Awesome. Sounds perfect.
Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your time, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you for everything, Val. It's been awesome.